Amina Mohammed, an international civil servant, joined the United Nations some 8 years ago. She described the world body as a global town hall where multilateral challenges that require solutions are deliberated on.
It has had a framing for peacekeeping. It has had a framing for development, you would have seen us in the humanitarian field where we have saved lives over the years. I think that has been successful. Whether in fact the Security Council, which is one of the important organs of the United Nations, has been able to keep the peace, keep conflicts out, that's not happened as often as it should have. And I think that we struggle today to find a permanent 5 membership of the Security Council that can address all the concerns that we have across the world for peace and security, for instance.
The 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council are China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom and the United States. Herself from African descent, Mohammed says Africa is a core member of the United Nations.
So when you speak to the United Nations, you're also talking to Africa. And its membership and its involvement in trying to find pathways out of these challenges, I think, has been one that sometimes we are 2 steps forward and then we take a step back. I think today, in the case of DRC, there have been some well-meaning efforts that have been supported by the UN, where the African regional entities have taken charge and are looking to find African solutions to the problem that's there. So I'm hopeful. It's not always easy because there are often many cooks in the kitchen, but this is, if it's well-intentioned, we find a pathway, try to address the root causes over time.
Geopolitical tensions often affect UN's diplomatic efforts, begging the question if multilateralism is under threat.
I think multilateralism is under threat, and I think that that's something that we are all witnessing today as we see a withdrawal from multilateral efforts by some of our member states. I do think this is an opportunity for resetting. I think multilateralism is still incredibly important in a multipolar world, and what we need to do is to see how can it be more fit for purpose. How can we have the same response, as you say, we have to Ukraine as we would have to Sudan, for instance.
Stability and sustainability is key to the existence of the UN, and the US, the biggest funder of UN's programs, withdrew from funding some of its programs, such as UNESCO and the UN Human Rights Council.
What they're saying is that they want efficiencies, and where there are not efficiencies, they will start to cut. It's a wake-up call to, how efficient are we? Are we doing the right expenditures in the right places? I think every member state has a right to ask those questions. What we will do is engage with them on that. We think that there's a huge impact from the cuts that have just happened now on humanitarian services.